Hello and welcome to my Fire Emblem LP. Let us begin. If you guys checked that out earlier, wait, let's just, yeah, blah 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 blah. I'll leave it with the defaults for now because it won't really come into effect too much. Yeah, as I was about to say, if you guys saw my Cave Story LP, you'll know that I'm a bit about challenge. And trust me, though this game isn't a classic action game, it has plenty of challenge. What I'm going to be doing to make this interesting is trying to keep all of the characters and recruit all characters at the same time. I'm also going to be skipping story elements because even though, you know, Fire Emblem series is known for its great story, very impactful, very full, it's a bit too full for my tastes. And at the very introduction, let me just show you at the bottom left, you can see hit, damage, crit. That shows you the chance of hitting, the amount of damage they will give if they hit, and the chance of dealing a critical hit. And at the very bottom you can see the HP of the character. But yeah, this is our first unit, Lynn. We'll be having her for this entire story arc segment. And she'll introduce us to items very slowly. Yeah, there. Our first item that we have is a Vulnerary, which if you're vulnerable, you can use it to heal yourself. Not very useful near the end of the game because it only heals 10 HP, but just a great help at the beginning. And here shows up our first boss. Let's see if Lynn can take... Wait, who do you think you are? You think you could stand up to Beta the Beast? Well, let's see if she can. I mean, oof. Looks like she might actually lose this. I don't know, what are we to do in this entirely scripted event? Looks like it all comes down to this. But yeah, if you noticed earlier, he just healed 2 HP. The reason why that happened was, oh, critical hit. There was only 1% chance of that happening, and it did. How did you... Couldn't have possibly been a scripted event, could it? And yeah, there's a level up. Stats increase, you know, the norm for RPGs and whatnot. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, blah, she's just going to explain what I'll be saying in a second. For fortresses and, you know, thrones and stuff like that, you will heal your forces, and your enemy will heal their forces if they put them on there and they are in any way injured. Each battle has different objectives that you need to go through to complete. Some will have you seize the throne, which means you'll have to take down the boss of that level, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you... That's right, story elements. How could I forget? Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to take down all of the enemies if you just have to seize the throne. It just means you need to take down the boss. And that introduces us to the more interesting and strategic aspect of the game, which is the weapon triad. It's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors, if you will. As you can see, axes defeat lances, swords defeat axes, and lances defeat swords. Now, just because you have a sword doesn't necessarily mean you will win. It does mean you will have an advantage. You'll have greater accuracy as well as greater power. But yeah, this is just another scripted event. We'll have about 2 more, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty of the game, recruiting characters, you know, the interesting things, the Fire Emblem things. So let's just keep with the pace. Another aspect that we'll introduce here is terrain. Well, excluding foes should be met with swords. Brandish your blade. Yeah, it's not like I didn't just say that, but as you can see, just because you have an advantage over them doesn't necessarily mean you'll win. At any time, you should be able to check your opponent's chances of hitting you and how much damage they'll do. I'll try to not use that too much, you know, keep it a little bit mysterious. And actually, in certain games in the series, there's something called the hard mode where you can't see the opponent's stats beforehand. And, yeah, it makes it much more interesting, much more entertaining. But, as I was saying before, this part of the tutorial phase is blah blah blah, introduces you to, area differences and advantages. Advantageous, right? In that case. That looks great. Let's move there, Mark. I'll mark it on my map. But yeah, forests give you greater accuracy and defense. Yeah, greater accuracy and defense, so you'll be able to dodge as well as attack better. So always look for situational and area-based advantages when you can. Right? Yeah. Story elements. Speaking of story elements, Sane is kind of like Brock, which is why he's a bit endearing. He may be just a bit of overwhelming with it at times, but you know, he's good-natured. He's got that lust for any woman, every woman, because that's just how Japanese people like to animate their characters, apparently. Alright, yeah. Chapter goal. Like I said earlier, there are certain chapters where you have to do different objectives. In this one, you have to defeat all foes. As you can see, there's no boss. That will happen every now and then. Though it's not really as interesting because, you know, bosses are the challenge. We'll just stay here because we have the advantage, using our sword again. Yeah. And for this very tiny segment, we'll be able to power through without scripted events. So let's see how that plays through. 36%. That's right, he missed. Yeah, Lynn will be very difficult to hit. That's one of her more positive traits. So I'll just move here, move here, move here. Yeah, at the end of a turn, you have two options, the item or wait. The benefits of item, as you already saw, were like using vulnerary. There are other items that you'll get that can boost like certain stats. But one of the things I'll be using more often than that, because I'm not a big fan of using items, you know, the whole challenge thing. Accursed knights always tampering in others' affairs. Yeah, Zugu. Their parents don't know how to name their children, do they? But yeah, as I was saying, one of the more useful tactics, well, more like an element of the game, is just to switch weapons on the fly with item. Like, right now I could switch to Lance if I wanted to, which would be a terrible idea, but it comes in much better handy later on in the game. And it's things like that that make the difference between losing a very vital member and winning the battle. So yeah, we'll just end things off here. Iron Axe. Zugu misses. Azugu! Yeah. So we're done with the second part of our tutorial. Let's hope there aren't too many more parts. Yeah, we'll just skip this by. Footsteps of Fate. Alright, and now we're introduced to villages. The use of villages... You want me to visit that home, right? I understand. Yeah, like I was gonna say, the use of villages are, well, homes. Difference between homes and villages. The interesting thing about homes are they can give you, you know, like little interesting tidbits about the battle arena. I won't be using them much, but I will still be checking every home because it can usually lead to you getting items, and it's always nice to have extra items. Yeah, and as I just said earlier, certain... Let me just end this here. Certain types of units can move afterwards, like wyverns, flying units, or knights. Yeah, I won't let them spoil too much. And one of the better things about this game is you always have the element of time, so you never really have to worry about running out of time or being at a disadvantage because you're just outclocked. It just gives you as much time as you need to do everything. However, YouTube does not give me that same privilege, so we will be dealing with a time restraint. I'll try to get through these battles as quickly as possible. You were able to see thrones earlier. Now it introduces, in a much more proper manner, fortresses. As you can see, it has a defense of 2 and an avoid of 20. Very useful. You can also heal. It's like a ratio depending on your HP, so it's very nice to have. Yeah. Another interesting thing that they bring into play in this battle is deformable obstacles. Like you can see a little bit of a crack in that. Wait, let's see if Saint couldn't finish the job. What a shame. Anyways, we'll show you that next turn. Yeah, he'll go for Kent. Yeah, that's what I thought. And just enough to do the KO. You can see the advantages of having the proper equipment already. Alright, let's just get through here. And more axe. Not doing too well. Yeah, it looks like Saint has much more power than Kent does, but Kent can attack twice. And you can never underestimate the power of being able to attack twice. Yeah, like I was saying before, deformable terrain. This wall, you can see its HP at the lower left corner. Very useful to have there. Attack with Iron Sword. Yeah. And there we go. But yeah, they give you like quick stops to taking down the enemy. Now, one of the bad things about knights, knights are usually very mobile, great for moving around quickly, but one of the bad things about knights, they cannot at all move over mountains. It's a shame too. Alright, let's attack with the lance. So close. We'll just save him here, and wait it off. Yeah, another thing is, if there are no opponents within range, as you can see their range there. Very nice to have. Attack with your lance. Yeah. It's always nice to check on exactly where opponents can move. It's a great way to, stop ambushes from happening unless you're in the mist, which is another element. Oh, shouldn't have done that. Don't worry, he can finish it off exactly. The reason why I did that was because whenever you have a certain weapon equipped, your unit levels up their weapon level, which is very useful because it affects their speed with that weapon, it affects their attack power with that weapon. Very useful. Who do you think you are? What chance do you think you have against me? Glass. Yeah, I'll shatter you just like it. Yeah, Kent is putting on some pretty bad damage here, but don't worry. We'll be able to finish it off soon. Iron Lance. Bam. No. You still have to seize the throne, and neither of them can seize the throne. Now, I would skip that Axeman, but unlike in the other Game Boy Advanced Fire Emblem game, you do not have the option to, just, what's it called? Yeah, that's a quick way to just end without having to move all your troops. Just, anywhere off the... Oh, critical hits! Yeah, he's done. What are the odds of that? 4, actually. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, you just have to press anywhere else on the map with A, and you'll be able to finish off the turn for yourself. Very nice. You could also check your units, status, options, suspend the match, and yeah, let's just seize this throne. And we're done for the level. And that's one of the legendary weapons. And with that, so this is the Manikati, a blade with no equal. And with that, I'll have to bid you adieu, because I am due to leave. Enjoy yourselves. This was Poop Socket. See you all next time.